Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This is James. Today I'm going to talk about some popping up noise or cracking noise coming from your duct system. If you have the same issue, I bet you already feel the pain about that sounding coming from your duct system. It's so noise that sometimes it wakes you up at midnight. I'll put a video here so you can experience how the sound is like. You all started last winter in 2019 when we moved in this townhouse. And first the furnace stops working, and then I have to fix that because of its inducer motor doesn't work. I have to fix that issue. If you are interested, you can check my another video. I'll put the link below. Other than that, is this popping up noise coming from the duct, from the venting system, and you feel very annoyed by this sound. The sound is too loud, or some people like me is too sensitive that you just cannot stand for the sound, the noise. You have to figure out ways to solve it. So I looked online. I checked the YouTube for some solutions. What I found is that I'm not alone on this, because a lot of people post their issue video about this sound, which is exactly the same situation I was facing. And then I do find here and there some solutions, some comments, but none of them applied in my situation. So I'll put together some options that I've tried. I think it might be helpful in some situations. So situation one, as you can see from the picture, this is actually coming from a male dad. I put the link below. In his situation, you see the noise is coming from his new house, the basement. So his basement is not finished. So relatively, it's easier for him to reach out to the connection between the vent and the duct. As you can see from the picture, that he is so smart and used the aluminum tape and the bracket to fix the joint where is the source of the noise. So he literally put the aluminum tape and the bracket to every connection. In that case, it solved the problem that the noise is gone in his situation. So that is great. If you have the similar issue, your basement is not finished, you can try this. Option two, I tried this option two, that some people just leave this comments at the below of one of the YouTube about this issue. And what he did is that he removed the register, and he also removed the nails on the vent. And at the same time, he moved the vent back and forth just in case the noise is coming from the connection, the joint of the vent and duct, which is near to the register. So fortunately, in his situation, he solved the problem by simply just move the vent back and forth and put it back, put the nails back, and put the register back. For a couple of days, the noise will never come back again. So that is great. That is the minimum work if that applies to your situation. So situation three is that you have a finished basement, and then you identify the noises coming from basement somewhere, and then you have a dilemma to make. Either just let it be, like my wife suggested, let it be. She doesn't hear that at all. So, or some people like me that just cannot stand for it. especially during COVID-19, you're working from home, you feel you just distracted all the time, you cannot focus. You have to fix that. It's like without fixing that, you cannot find the inner peace. Anyways, so I decided to fix that, even with the finished basement. And then here are the steps you need to follow. So step 1, identify where this popping up noise is coming from. By any chance, it might be multiple locations. But start with the loudest noise coming from. Identify exactly where it is. You might be covered by some drywall. You might be in your basement. You might be behind your wall. In my situation is in my basement. It literally just beneath the flooring of my living room. But I believe I can solve this issue from the basement. So you have to make a choice. If you want to cut a hole on your ceiling of your basement, or you need to live with it. So anyway, for me, I don't have a choice. I have to cut a hole on my ceiling, and then you have to identify where the noise is coming from. It literally takes me a while to identify where it is. I even put my ear on the floor, just try to identify where the noise is coming from. The noise is louder when you have a furnace works or stops working. When the expansion is happening, then the sound is louder coming in the duct system. So I tried that a couple of times. Switch on the AC, switch it off, and here try to find the location about the noise coming from, and then I identify it's literally in the middle section of my basement. So I decided to cut a hole. Step 2, when you identify where the location is, the noise location, and then you measure that, you have to make sure you're not cutting the stud, where you call it the column. You just cut through the drywall. Make sure the blade depth is properly setted, and then you cut it. You draw some square on your ceiling, and then you cut a hole. For me, that I cut a hole like this. It's a feet square, so you can see from the video demonstration. Step 3, after cutting the hole, it turns into much easier. You just confirm where the noise is coming from, turn on the AC again, or switch it off, and then listen. Oh, here we go with the noise, and then you figure out the solution about that. You can always use option 1, what Mong did. I think that's a very good solution. You put aluminum tape where you put additional screw and a bracket to hold the vent and the supporting joist together. That might solve your problem. But for me, I cut a couple of wood block. So in that case, I just hammered them in. As you can see here, I just hammered them in between the joist, metal joist and the vent. So in that case, it has enough force to prevent the duct moving back and forth. I think that's where the noise is coming from. After putting the block, I think that's step 4. You need to double confirm, hey, if you solve the issue or not. Just switch on and off the AC, be patient, sitting there and listen to the noise. It might take a while, but if noise is gone, it's gone. It is what it is, and then you probably have the problem already solved. And the next step might be just clean up the mess and figure out later on how you put this block back to your ceiling and fix this problem. So here's my basement. As you can see, literally the noise is coming from here. Hopefully you can see it clearly. It's coming from this bracket. So I hammer in. I think the noise is coming when this bracket and this joist is popping up a little bit when it's heating up and cooling down. And then my solution is just hammering this block between the stand and the vent. So in that case, you prevent any movement about any metal parts which created this popping up noise. I'll give you a look. Here how it looks like. So here's the circular saw I've been using. It's 7 1/4 saw. It's relatively heavy and hard to use. Be careful when you're using that. Wear the proper PPE, mask, and your gloves, goggle, coverall, whatever. And literally what I did, I cannot demonstrate to you right now, but I can tell you what I did. Actually, I use this. Literally cut it all the way here. Same thing this side. The second hole I cut here is about 40 centimeter wide, 60 centimeter long. The first one might be 30 centimeters square. So this is the first one. I try to cut it at the corner, so in that case it won't impact on the whole appearance. But it seems that might not solve your problem. As I mentioned, try to figure out where the noise is coming from. So a couple of lessons learned from this project, I would call it. One is that you need to identify where this noise is coming from and make sure, hey, that's the position I want to cut a hole. For me, I made a mistake that I cut the first hole on the ceiling where it's not exactly the noise is coming from. Actually, that's where the noise is conducted through the vent. I thought that's the loudest, that it is the source of the noise coming from, but unfortunately that is not. After cutting the hole, I tried to move the vent back and forth, try to hammer in the block, but it seems that the noise, the popping up sound, the cracking sound is still there. Lesson number 2. This is for lesson number 2. As you can see, my drywall is a 1/2 inch thickness. The other thing is that when you try to cut it off, be careful, there might be some cable inside. For my case, I leave enough space against the wall. So in that case, just by assumption, there is some cable, I won't cut them. The other thing is that you have to make sure you don't cut the studs, like here. You leave enough space here. So in that case, even the blade can go through the drywall. It won't cause the damage for your stud. But unfortunately, in my case, if you can see here, there's a small cut off when I try to open the hole. The third lesson learned is that you need to plan in advance what kind of a proper tool you're using. you can use a big tool like me, use a circular saw. But the problem is that it's going to be a lot of dust. And it's very heavy for the saw I use. It's a heavy saw. And then if you have the condition, you can always consider to have a compact circular saw, which is have the function of connecting to your vacuum. That will be minimizing the dust just rushing off around the basement. So if you have an option, definitely choose the compact circular saw. So to wrap up here, hopefully this will be helpful for your case to help to solve your problem. You can reference to situation 1, 2, 3 to see which one might be more suitable in your case. Leave your comments below if you have any questions or you think you have better solution, then please leave some comments over there. So in that case, we can share further with other people who are facing the issue and suffering with this issue. And seems that this solved my problem, but feel free to leave any comments below. Take care.